This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. Welcome. Welcome to you.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's been an entire week since we filmed the podcast.
That's right.
It?
That's right. It's good to be back.
It's not true. Mm-hmm. This is actually just a couple days later from the last one, but you're receiving this a whole week later.
That's right.
Because of the magic and power of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'm going to be out of town.
We're going to miss you.
But they're not. Because
I'm going to miss you.
My voice will be
Some
in their
of them
ears.
will because you won't be at church.
I won't be at church. We're leaving Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still
is that
not
a new shirt?
I don't know.
You look real nice, man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I should have dressed up a little bit.
Oh, shucks.
I feel underdressed. I should have wore a collar.
Yeah. I wear like one collared shirt a week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably too casual.
During the summer, I have like 6 Under Armour shirts, the little short sleeve ones, and they're all different color, and I just rotate through them.
I know.
Maybe I need to change it up this year. I've been doing that for like 8 years. I'm like Steve Jobs, except I wear a different color Under Armour shirt.
That's funny. Yeah, the black shirt. Yeah. There's some people that do that. Like their entire wardrobe is just one single kind of shirt.
They say that because like I think it was Steve Jobs like we don't need to take up the mental brain space to pick out clothes. They just wear the same thing. It's like, dude, you run Apple. You can think about like I could wear a different shirt. Yeah. This is the same guy that died of liver cancer because he tried to eat mushrooms to cure it.
It's like it's actually a brand is what it is.
Yes,
it's their
100%.
Brand. It's their brand.
Yes, their brand.
Yeah. I like wearing different clothes.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do. I like clothes.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well.
How gay.
a little bit. I like pockets.
So we're going to be talking about Leviticus chapters 8 through, I don't know.
Maybe 11.
We go. Maybe 11.
We'll see.
I don't have any questions or nothing to ask you. I just want to get into it, I guess.
Come on, ask me something.
I can't think of nothing.
Oh. What do I use for hair? What do you use for hair care products?
What do I use?
Yeah.
Or whatever Steph has. Yeah. I do. I don't.
You got any favorite soap? Since we're taling about clothes and being a little weird.
Yeah, I do. I use Dr. Squatch. So
I do too.
I love Dr. Squatch.
I love Dr. Squatch.
I used to have such dry skin.
Yeah.
This is not a commercial.
This is not. We are not sponsored by Dr. Squatch.
But my hands used to dry all the time.
Yeah.
And then I swapped to Dr. Squatch, and I don't dry anymore.
And
ever.
It smells so good.
It does. Smells great.
Have you tried the bourbon one? The bourbon stick is good. The pine one is good.
I don't like the pine tar as much.
Well, it does get. It's pretty dark.
It's like I don't like the grit in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm using one now. It's like Blue Breeze or something.
I use 2 of them. I use the aloe vera one and the Falls Fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Those are great. I'll order once a year, and I mean, they last like a month.
They do.
Every bar lasts like a month. And so it's actually pretty cheap. But is this weird? I don't know. I only wash my hair like once a week.
It might be weird.
I don't think it is.
I don't know. I think probably, I think people wash their hair too much.
I think they do too. I think, especially men.
In fact, if you read Dr. Squatch, like I get Dr. Squatch shampoo and conditioner too, it says on there to only use the shampoo like once every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You got oils in your hair, and it washes it off.
I know, it's
so
weird.
You gotta go that little fine line between. I look like a grease head.
Yeah.
And
here's why I found out years ago. I used to wash my hair every day. Every time I took a shower, I was washing my hair, and it was brittle.
Dry your hair out.
It was dry and brittle, and it wasn't doing well. And so I stopped, and I was like, I wonder what I need to do. I did a little research, and
it said quit washing your hair so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, like it was like you should only wash your hair, and this is kind of mainly for dudes. This isn't as much for you. Got a lot of hair. You might have some different issues.
Women don't wash their hair as much as I did.
No
way.
No. And but it's like basically you should wash your hair when it's soiled, not when you take a shower, because you're using a detergent to take all the oils out of your hair.
Yeah.
And then you use conditioner
If you're
to put silicone all over your hair
to keep it from being dry.
Yeah. So you've like replaced one lubricant and added a fake lubricant.
Yes, but
Which in your hair is going to oil back up on top of silicone, which makes it look greasy. And so what I've realized when I stopped washing my hair so much and I don't use any conditioner ever, is I don't ever get greasy head.
Yeah.
Like I don't get in my scalp is never dry. I don't
Don't
dandruff,
get dandruff
anymore.
You know, see, that's the thing though. But when they don't tell dudes how to wash their hair, nobody talks about it. It's a good thing we had this podcast.
Yeah.
Because you need conditioner if you use shampoo.
Yep.
If you're washing your hair all the time,
Yep.
because it literally sucks the oils out of it and makes your hair dry.
Yep.
And the older you get, the worse it gets.
Yeah. So if I get real nasty, if I've like
I have to wash my hair a good bit because I build a lot of fires.
Yeah,
and that sticks in your hair.
Yeah, you get nasty, you get soiled, smell,
I like
something.
to burn stuff.
But like, well, I remember when I first like tried this out. Like, I would have I'd have Steph just smell my hair, make sure it doesn't stink or nothing. She's like every single time, so it smells like nothing.
Yeah,
and I wasn't washing.
Yeah,
so it literally smells like nothing. Doesn't smell good, doesn't smell bad. It's like literally zero smell on it.
We've been tricked.
Yeah, we have.
Now I use soap every time.
Yeah, now
only Dr. Squatch because it don't dry my skin out.
Yeah, and
what in the world are we doing?
Yeah, the hair is weird.
Hey, listen, y'all can judge us. I don't care.
If you have a beard, same thing. Beard oil is ridiculous.
It'll make your beard greasy.
It'll make your face. It like changes like
unless
oil
you're trying to get your
face,
you got one of your mustaches, you're trying to twirl it up, you're gonna have to get something. But
you have to use wax for that, not for not oil,
beard paste or whatever it is. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of wild. I don't know if y'all think I'm gross. I don't care.
I wear deodorant. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wear deodorant,
and I don't
most of the time.
I've tried to. That's one. I don't use Dr. Squatch deodorant.
I've never tried it.
It's one of those natural ones a little bit, and I like antiperspirant.
Oh, I do too.
Like I don't want a sweat ring.
Yeah, they always talk like the crunchy people out there. They get all weird about the aluminum. Or they as something.
In Britain they don't. In Britain they get weirded out about the aluminium. I'm not sure if it's the same thing.
Yeah. I wish we called it aluminium.
Ain't that
That's
good?
actually a way better name.
I know, and I also like garage better than garage.
Garage.
Yeah, schedule.
Schedule.
I'll have to check my schedule.
Color. Yeah. No, it's actually just color, but it's spelled weird.
Well, we should. Yeah. They put U's in there for no reason. Labor and
Savior.
You
know that song we sing, Praise the Savior? It was written in Australia, and so
they put a U.
There's a U in it.
I know.
I'm like, this looks ridiculous.
It's so weird. Why do we need that? English is stupid anyway.
Yeah. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've chit chatted.
So Dr. Squatch, man, don't go out, dear listener, and just buy it because every once in a while it goes on sale and you can get a bunch of bricks. I call them bricks. I don't know what
order it. I think you can get it at Walmart now.
You can.
Yeah.
You can get it at Walmart.
I think
and
it's a little more expensive,
Amy smell
though.
it. So which one of these you like the best?
Yeah.
And I like to smell like my wife likes.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You know.
Yeah, you don't have to tell everyone why.
Yeah, well, they know.
Yeah, they know. That's funny. So let's get into the Bible. Let's read a little bit or talk about it. We don't have to read all of this stuff. So last couple of weeks we've been talking about the sacrificial system in Leviticus, and now we're getting to kind of an important part of the sacrificial system, and it's the priests.
Yeah,
like there are these priests. Now, what exactly is a priest, Brad?
Okay, in the Old Testament or just period?
Well,
so in general, we'll say a priest is somebody who intercedes on behalf of the people to God.
Yeah,
that's the priestly duty.
Yeah.
So when they're offering these sacrifices, they're sort of the I don't want to say middleman, but kind of. So they're going before God to you.
Yeah.
And if you think of the prophet is the person who speaks to the people on behalf of God, and the priest is the one who goes to God on behalf of the people.
Yeah.
And
So it's like the other end of the telephone.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Now they can be the same guy. It just depends on what he's doing. If he's preaching the word, he's doing the prophet's work.
Yeah.
Even if he's a priest. If they bring him a sacrifice and he intercedes on their behalf, he's doing a priestly duty.
Yeah.
And so that's what in a nutshell how I understand a priesthood.
That's great. What about like just the modern reader of the Bible, someone who maybe isn't as familiar with like the cultic backdrop of like the ancient world? Like when they think of priests, what do they think of? What do you think?
In modern day?
Yeah, modern day.
I think I think people would probably think of a Catholic priest.
Why are they called priests and not pastors?
But well,
Isn't that a good question?
I'm gonna try to answer this as accurately as I can. So if a priest was sitting here, he would be like, "Yeah, that's right." So the Roman Catholic Church has a sacramental system.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can imagine it this way, the death of Christ is given to the church, and it's kind of called the depository of merit.
Yeah, of grace.
Of grace.
Yeah.
So the church has the grace.
Yeah, it's like all in a basket.
It's in a basket, you might think.
Yeah.
And the way it gets out of the basket is through the sacramentally ordained priests.
Yeah.
So they are making that intercession for the people on behalf of God. They do things that unordained people cannot do.
Yeah.
So when they offer the Eucharist, or what they call a Mass,
Lord's Supper.
the Lord's
for
Supper,
the rest of us.
they are empowered by the church to transform the bread and cup into the literal body and blood of Christ through transubstantiation.
That sounds like hocus pocus.
Yeah, that's in
You like that?
Yes,
Yeah, you like
good.
that joke?
And and
That's Latin, folks.
So
Yeah.
then they bless the host.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, and then they give it to the people. So they see themselves as, I mean, they are the priesthood. They have to do it. It's the
Yeah.
only way that the people can get at the grace.
Yeah.
It's not the only way, but
Are
that's
they
the main
also
way.
pastors?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we have priests as in the
We
Baptist
do.
world?
We believe that every believer is a priest.
The priesthood of all believers. Yeah, that's
So-
like a Baptist distinctive.
Yes,
isn't it?
it is. Well, it's a Baptist distinctive, but I think a lot of people are Baptists who don't claim to be, because we got a reputation. So, like a lot of independent churches are basically Baptist.
Nearly every single non-denominational church out
Is
there
a Baptist.
is Baptist.
Right? So,
yeah.
because they do believers' baptism, and they would believe that you don't have to have anybody to intercede between you and the Lord. So yeah, I think we don't see grace as being mediated through the church the same way that Catholicism does.
Yeah.
Although I would say grace is mediated through the church, but when I say the church, I don't mean Rome.
Yeah.
I mean
So
the universal church, which
they're
we
not
don't
the
see.
only ones who have priests.
No.
Like the Anglican Church has priests.
Anglican Church has priests. The Orthodox Church has
Why
priests.
are they called priests?
Same reason.
In the Anglican Church and
It's
the
pretty
Orthodox,
much because of what happens at the Eucharist. Although,
The Anglicans are a little weird about that.
They don't like to be nailed down on anything.
Yeah.
They like to go, well.
They
Yeah.
like well, we're called priests, but they don't get into as much of the transubstantiation stuff.
They might.
It just depends on which ones. Yeah.
They'll be like, well, it may be doing that, which I like in some ways the Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
And some of the things they do, because if you ask them, is it the literal body and blood of Christ? They're like, well, it's a mystery. We don't know what.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like, if
Look,
you ask them,
join the club.
Join the club.
I don't know.
We don't know what's happening
exactly.
exactly.
I was thinking about this the other day. Speaking of Lord's Supper, we
Yeah.
were taking the Lord's Supper, and I was thinking to myself, I wish we did this every day.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that feeling?
You're rolling towards Roman
I guess
Catholicism
I
pretty
am,
quick.
man. I'm going down the Roman road. I was like, man, I wish we did
could
this
do it every day.
I wish we did. I wish this was like something we did every day. I want it every day.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's true. It's like a discovery thing. I don't know. I was like, wow, this is.
I wish we
interesting.
baptized every day.
Yeah, that too.
That would be even better.
That it would be better.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're supposed to be baptized before you take the Lord's Supper.
You mean you be baptized every day?
No, I meant like
We're-
people
we
coming
had-
to Jesus.
yes,
And we
okay,
I
good,
wish
good.
every church in this town was baptizing 10 people every day, man.
Yeah.
I tell my friends that. I was like, I hope everybody in the city gets saved in your church. I'll go do something else. I just want them saved.
That's good.
Yeah. So in some ways, though, we're a little disingenuous, if we're being honest, because we're like, we believe in the priest of all believers, but we wouldn't let just anybody serve the Lord's Supper up there.
Yeah.
We don't let just anybody get up there and preach either.
That's true. Well, there's still
Although
different.
I would let a non-elder preach sometimes.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, no.
Yeah. I would let a non-elder lead the Lord's Supper. But it's just like not our normal practice.
Yeah, not our normal practice. I'd have to think about it because it has not. It's not like a. It's not like a. Oh well, this is my chapter and verse. I'd be like, it's kind of like when people say, "Can anybody baptize?" And I'm like, I'm not sure.
I think yes. I think the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
But it's like not. It doesn't mean it's like necessarily like a wise practice.
Yeah. So like there's exceptions, and like in the Didache, which is a great document and also kind of weird in some spots. They talk about extenuating circumstances, right? So like if when Philip baptizes the eunuch and he's taken away, that's an unusual occurrence.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Yeah.
If the preferred practice would be elders in the church and believers' baptism through immersion.
Yeah.
That's the preference.
Yeah. I think that's important. You've talked to me about this before. Just the associating your baptism with the church and not a person.
Yes.
Is really important, I think.
Associate your baptism with the church and understand that when you come out of the water of baptism, you're coming in the front door of the church.
Paul in 1 Corinthians, Paul is, I mean, they're doing some kind of weird unity or disunity thing.
Yeah.
And at the root of it is who baptized who.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's super. It's probably not our struggles what we would deal with, but I think it is at least a nice little case study on why it's probably better to. Could you imagine, if like, dear listener, if you were baptized by, I'm not going to a dear pastor that you loved, and they like apostatized, something crazy happened. I didn't want to make that
happened to me.
Did it really?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I don't know that he apostatized, but he lost his mind.
The pastor who
baptized me, he sure
didn't
did.
count, did it?
I think it counted. Yeah.
That's right. That's the thing.
Here's the thing. We actually had this fight early, and it was a big fight. It's called the Donatist controversy with Augustine. And so what happened was, in the Donatist controversy, they had a great persecution of the church, and a lot of priests.
This is a Diocletian.
Yeah, a lot of priests betrayed the faith, and they told out under torture where people were hiding, where the Bibles were. Stuff got burned. It was bad. Yeah. And so then when the persecution broke, those guys repented, and the Donatists wouldn't accept it. And they said, not only can you not be a priest, every baptism you performed was invalid because you were not a true believer.
Yeah.
You forsook the faith.
Yeah.
And that's a real problem, Yeah. And so the church, the church universal, Augustine argued this, or Augustine if you're educated, he said, look, guys, it can't be dependent on the person doing it. It can't be.
It can't be.
But then then they're like, well, what if he's not a believer? It's like, it still works. That's what he says. And so then they start appealing to ordination, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, he's been ordained by the church to do it, even if he goes apostate. We don't appeal to ordination.
It's not about the person.
No,
who's baptizing.
It's about the
you.
confession.
Yeah, it's about That's exactly
the person baptizing you can neither save you nor condemn you.
Well, they're just helping you get in and out of the water.
Yeah, they're doing what.
That's what all they're doing.
So it counts.
Yeah,
but we have a different problem as Baptists because we believe in believers' baptism, and so what happens is people get baptized when they're 7 years old. And then they get to be about 17 and they sin real good. They sleep with their girlfriend. They drink a bunch of beer. They throw up at a party. And then they think Jesus is stupid or whatever, and their moms and dads in the church don't know nothing. And then about 24 years old, they get a girlfriend who drags them back to church, and they're like, I don't think I was ever saved.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to be baptized again.
Yeah.
And then you got to somehow walk them through that. And what happens is people will sin, and they'll think, I must not have been serious about my baptism. I must not have been saved because I did a bunch of sinning. It's like, well, not real sure that was the case.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
Did you? Yeah.
That's a hard thing to help people. Because sometimes that might be true.
Sometimes it might be true.
You might have been very illegitimate.
I very much lean towards it was legit the first time.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I do not think, okay, this is so weird. This is going to weird out people. Faith is not always a completely conscious action.
Well, we would say wholeheartedly it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Because here's the deal, and I know people don't think about this much.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm driving down 431, I get in a car wreck, I bump my head really bad, and I wake up, I don't know my name. This happens.
Yeah.
I don't know my name. Some of my memory's destroyed. I can't remember my wife and stuff, and it's gone. I have amnesia for a while because of brain damage. I can't remember Jesus. I don't remember getting saved. I don't know my own name.
Yep.
Does that mean I'm not saved anymore?
Yeah.
And so a supernatural act occurred. And so I think kids do get saved when they're like 7.
Yeah.
I think they sin horribly. This was my case.
Just let's make that clear about the thing about the amnesia.
Yeah.
Your point is that they are still saved.
They're still saved.
If you get amnesia or something, like
Yeah.
you've not lost the grace of God.
No,
I just wanted to make
God
sure that
still
was
has
clear.
you.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. God still has you. When you fall asleep, you don't think about Jesus, but he still got you. I want to tell a funny joke, but I don't want my daughter to get upset. She had her wisdom teeth out.
No, you should tell her.
Okay,
She's
so
not going to listen to
she
this.
had her wisdom teeth. That's true. She had her wisdom teeth out, and she was under the influence of very strong sedatives like propofol, whatever they give you to put you in the twilight so you don't remember them putting their knee in your chest and yanking your teeth out of your head. She asked me on the way home, if Jesus comes back and I'm under this anesthesia, is he going to get me? She said that. She has no memory of it. And I said, absolutely, he's going to get you. She was like, okay, good. It was really a bother for her. She was really worried that because she was loopy that Jesus would forget her.
Yeah,
I was glad she was thinking about it, even subconsciously under the anesthetic.
Yeah.
She was like, uh-oh.
That's important, though. Yeah, that whole idea is important. This happens all the time. I mean, that's probably the primary pastoral conversation we have with people.
Yeah, and so
like, was I saved or not?
I tell people when I got saved at 21, I was baptized at like 7 or 8 in a church, and for 10 years I'd have said, "Yep, I got saved when I was 21," because I got into an agnostic area and sort of antagonistic toward the church and a lot of stuff, and then God saved me. But now that I'm 50, and I look back over those years between like 8 years old and 21, and I could not shake Jesus, man.
Yeah, it's like maybe
I tell people
I came to Christ at 21 because of your baptism.
Because of my baptism.
Yes.
Because I was serious when I was 7.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Gosh, I wish I could remember. She's a writer. I think she's Roman Catholic. I'll think of it. She wrote not a few good men. She wrote a good man's hard to find. What is her name? Anyway, she coined this phrase, Christ haunted. She said the South is Christ haunted.
Yeah.
And I love that because my entire life.
Flannery O'Connor
said that
Christ haunted.
Christ haunted.
I think there's a lot of people
who are Christ haunted
that show up at having this conversation that are Christ haunted.
Yes, and I think what it is God is faithful.
Yep,
and
that's
so
what it is.
I think when I was like 8 or 9, this is long road look, and I would not fuss with people about this because everybody's on their journey, you know. I would just encourage them to think about it. I think Jesus was going to get me.
Yeah.
I think he had me.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. And I was like in the far country, and I wanted to fill my belly with the husks that the swine did eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I burned up a lot of youth because of stupid.
Yeah.
And God one day just said, "That's enough." Mm-hmm. And he smote me.
He smote
with righteous conviction. It's like, I can kill you. Yeah, we got smoted right there. Smited. Yeah. So I think so it maybe once if they're like, look, I wasn't really saved. When I just did it because my big brother did it or whatever, and okay, I would baptize them.
Yeah. Or if it's like it's a very like singular moment.
Yes.
And without any follow, like you didn't have any follow through. There wasn't any kind. Like I didn't
even think about Jesus for the last 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, I think that.
I prayed every day from the time I was 8 years old till I got saved.
Did you?
Prayed. Yeah.
Really?
Every day.
That's weird.
It is weird. Yeah. But I did.
Yeah.
Sometimes I didn't know who I was talking to. I told you that. Like I'm just like that little mouse saying, "Somewhere out there." Yeah. But I don't know, man. So you got to let people walk through that. That's our challenge, I guess, is as Baptists is like,
That's a nice discussion on priests.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, God's dealing with you.
Yeah, that's right. So, if Brad decides to, apostatize, please don't.
No.
And all you church members who were baptized by Brad, like you're in a crisis of faith now.
It still works.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He just dropped the ball real bad.
Yeah,
so,
I would never.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't do that.
I would not want to do that to anybody.
Yeah.
I saw a comedian talking about that, like atheists that try to talk people out of their faith. Mm-hmm. He's like, "What is the win there? Have you seen that?"
Oh yeah, just what awful people.
What awful people. Did we talk about this on the podcast?
Like, I'm trying to steal your hope.
No, yeah,
Let me steal your hope from you.
Like, my life is bad, everything's going wrong, but at least I got God. And the atheist jumps out of the bush and goes, "There is no God." And he's like, "Oh no, I think you're right."
Now I have nothing.
Now I have nothing. Thank you, Mr. Fedora Wearer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, neck beard.
What are you doing,
Yeah.
man? I think it's just like, I am miserable. That I can't remember who said it, but like the whole atheist shtick is there is no God and I hate him. That's so true, man.
Yeah, that's so true.
Anyway.
I remember the Free Thinking Society at UAB. Oh man, they were more evangelistic than the Christians were.
Oh, they're fired up, man.
They'd go around like begging for a debate. I don't know. It was weird, man. It's like it's a religion, you know.
I met a guy like that when I first got to college, and I talked to him about it. And then before I graduated, that dude was a believer.
Really?
Yeah. I think so. He said
because there is no God and I hate him.
Yeah. And one day somehow God got him.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but he was like, "Dude, I'm stupid." But then he was like, we were like, "Hey man, we're going to have to get the leash on this guy," because he's being a turd about it.
Oh yeah.
You can't carve Jesus in a baseball bat and whack people over the head with it.
You can't?
No, don't.
Oh.
Can't torture people in the faith. You can't yell at them in faith. Can't do it.
Shout out to Austin Squires.
That's
an inside joke. Yeah,
sure it won't work.
Are we sure it won't work?
We're sure it won't work.
Okay,
Stop.
right.
Stop. Yeah, it won't work. We've tried it.
Yeah, that is true. We have tried it. Well,
Now,
not we.
Not we.
It's
No,
just
not we. But the church.
the larger universal church. That's a bad thing to do.
Yeah, it's super bad. It's super stupid. Now, some religions you can take a sword and make people their faith.
Yeah, you can for
Because
some
you
religions.
just got to obey the rules.
But it's only because they're fake religions.
They're fake.
They're not real.
We got to have heart change, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Leviticus. We got like one sentence in priests, and we took us all the way there.
There you go.
That was like 30-minute conversation just on priests.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what happens with these priests. They become ordained, right?
Yes.
The ordination of Aaron and his sons, which that word isn't in there. Okay, right? There's
What's that? Ordained?
Ordain.
No.
Right. That's our word.
Set them apart. They say stuff like
there's
that.
There's anointing happening,
anointing, yeah.
and which is the word for Messiah.
Yeah.
That's what that is, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, and that helps you understand what the Messiah Jesus was. He's chosen. It's like it's an election idea about election.
He was
being
anointed
chosen.
for a task.
Yep. Chosen for a
God.
task,
Yeah.
and that's what's happening with these priests. So. We talked a little bit about what, some of their pieces, the Urim and the Thummim and everything. So they're anointed and selected to be priests. And then you get into chapter 9. And on the 8th day, Moses summoned Aaron, his sons, and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, "Take a young bull for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering." And they're going to have this sacrifice for this whole ordination or inauguration, I guess is the best way to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so they do that, right? They cut the animal up, they burn it and do a sacrifice, and now they're priests.
Yes.
Now they get to stand.
They're high priests.
They're high. Oh, well, Aaron's a high priest,
Aaron's
right?
high priest,
Or
yeah.
the sons aren't high priests, though.
It's a little sketchy at first.
Okay.
Well, they're from the order of Aaron, so they're
That's
the
right.
inheritors of
Yeah.
the job,
Yeah.
but they also perform pretty significant priestly duties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you actually there in this you have a reference to one of those sacrifices specifically. You have the fellowship sacrifice.
Yeah.
In verse 18, he slaughtered the ox and the ram as the people's fellowship sacrifice, which is kind of neat. Like you see this play out finally, or in one moment right here at the beginning. So there's a fellowship offering going on with this, and then you have this little block of narrative that comes up in chapter 10.
The very next chapter.
The very next chapter, like they were just washed with blood. Right.
Anointed, got a very significant job.
Yeah. And getting these two guys named Nadab and Abihu, which are Aaron's sons. So let's read it.
Yeah.
Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, each took his own fire pan, put fire in it, placed incense on it, and presented unauthorized fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them to do. Then fire came from the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. All right. Yeah. Like, this is the first thing that happens.
Man, this is awful.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
If you're reading, if you had the chance to read, the Bible for the very first time, front to back, and experience it the first time, this is one of those you don't expect.
No.
This is like, whoa, what just happened?
It's like every time something good happens, it has to be screwed up.
Yep.
Maybe the next guys were like, I'm not sure if I want this job.
Yeah.
But so the most heartbreaking part to me, other than they died and they had to be dragged out of there, Moses commands Aaron not to mourn his own sons.
Oh, yeah.
And tells his brothers don't mourn them either.
Yep.
Woof.
Yeah, he says that in verse 4, Moses summoned Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Aaron's uncle Uzziel, and said to them, "Come here and carry your relatives away from the tent of the sanctuary to a place outside the camp." So they came forward and carried them in their tunics outside the camp. So they're being pulled out of the camp. That's another exile thing right there. And Moses said to Aaron and his sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, "Do not let your hair hang loose, and do not tear your clothes, or else you will die, and the Lord will become angry with the whole community. However, your brothers, the whole house of Israel, may weep over the fire that the Lord caused. Mm-hmm. You must not go outside the entrance to the tent of the meeting, or you will die, for the Lord's anointing oil is on you." So they did as Moses said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
The basic, basically what Moses did was, apparently, as I read it, when these guys died, Aaron was in there.
Yeah.
Because he's not allowed to leave the tent of meeting.
Yep.
Now, it's not a little bitty tent like a pup tent you're talking about, like you're on your Boy Scout trip.
Yep.
This is a big, almost like a building size thing. But Aaron's in there.
Yeah.
And his sons die.
Yep.
And Moses says, "Don't leave. Don't undo your hair. You are at work still.
Yep.
You are still making sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you do this, God's going to kill you."
Yeah.
Dude, that's he said, Israel will mourn for you.
Yeah.
Well, not for you, but on your behalf.
Yeah.
They're going to cry for your sons.
Yeah.
You don't cry for them.
Whew. Yeah, you don't get to tear your clothes. You don't. Yeah, don't let your hair hang loose.
And you're like, well, who tears their clothes and hair? That was grief then.
That's normal mourning.
Mourning, and still people wail and stuff in the East. We wear black and act like
they just
we're
rip
fine.
their clothes out. Back then.
We act like nothing happened.
That's right.
We have the weirdest mourning rituals in the world.
Man,
Don't
I hate funerals.
I hate them.
They're
so weird.
So weird, man.
It's like 1 hour.
Impersonal.
And it's like, man, he was a great guy and I really appreciated him and he told some good jokes. And then it's like,
I hate funerals in funeral homes.
Yes.
Like, it makes me sad. They make me very sad.
Yeah, it feels like you're just you're not mourning somebody really.
No,
it's like we got to get this guy. We got to get him out of here in an
hour.
hour.
You get an hour in and out. You have like
we need to go back to wakes.
Yeah, or something like when my dad died, I was 16. Our whole community came to our house.
Yeah,
and was at our house for like a full day. It was important. It was really helpful.
That's what people used to do. So you would lie in state in your home in the bed, and everybody would come over. It called it waking the dead.
Yeah.
And somebody would sit up with the dead the whole 24 hours. And the whole point was that people would come over and see you and be like, "This is a tragedy. We're so sorry. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Or your mom was awesome. Or whoever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Aaron did not get that.
Yeah.
And he said, "Nope, don't do it. Don't mourn." So they offered strange fire before the Lord.
That's what the KJV says, right?
Strange fire.
Strange. Isn't that
I think
KJV?
so.
Yeah.
It says
I'm going to look it up on our comparison here. What does
It says strange fire in New American Standard too.
Maybe it's New American actually that it's strange fire. Verse 1, isn't it? Yeah.
I got my King James right here.
Yeah. Unauthorized fire. NET goes strange fire. New American KJV is strange fire.
Strange fire.
Yeah.
King James.
That's an interesting thing to say.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to say. What does that mean? What's strange fire mean?
I don't know. I think it means Occam's razor or whatever. They did not pay attention to detail on the sacrifices, how they were supposed to be offered.
Yeah.
The incense on the altar, probably putting it the incense burner or whatever. They didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
They did what they wanted, or they just were being sloppy, and God was like, "We're not doing this.
Yeah.
You're going to come in here. You're going to pay attention."
Yeah. Oh, it's apparently. So I'm looking at halot, which is the Hebrew dictionary.
Yeah.
Strange is an old English way to talk about illicit.
Oh.
So the actual Hebrew is about prohibition.
Yeah.
Something prohibited.
Yeah.
Right. That's why
They did it wrong.
Yeah, they did what they were not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But in the 1611 straight from heaven, strange was a way to talk about that.
Yeah.
So they did something they're not supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't pay attention.
There's this famous book in conference by John MacArthur, Strange Fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know about this? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have we talked about the Strange Fire?
We've talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it on here.
Yeah. So it's like he was about, I guess, like late 90s or 2000s or something.
Basically, it was trying to combat the weird stuff that was happening in charismatic movements.
Yeah. He was, and so basically there's this guy, I guess Jack Deere is the primary
Target.
He was saying that there is a way you can hear directly from God, prophetic words from God, and you can tell them to people, right? And like you can be a modern day prophet speaking for God outside of the scripture. And they had like words, they had like names for these kind of, I can't remember what they're called. But basically,
Word of faith stuff.
Yeah. John MacArthur did like a conference and wrote a book about this called Strange Fire. And he uses this kind of idea right here that this is something, this is extra biblical. Whatever they're doing in their churches is in the same realm, he would say, as what Nadab and Abihu are doing.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree either.
It's pay attention to what the Lord said. He doesn't need you to add stuff on there to make it more fancier.
Yeah.
Regulative principles, what we call it, or something close, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's right. What is the regulative principle?
Strictly spoken, it's like if you don't see it in the New Testament, for a New Testament church in worship, don't do it. Yeah. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good principle.
The most extreme versions are they only sing psalms.
Yes.
They only sing direct scripture, right?
Yeah.
And they a lot of times don't have instruments.
Yeah. But that's crazy.
I think that's
because that stuff's in the Bible.
Yeah.
He talks about songs, spiritual hymns and songs.
Yeah.
And it's like they're
just the most crazy.
We've got
versions.
these snippets of hymns in Ephesians that are
that's right. Well, in
they were singing
Colossians
that
and
weren't
Philippians
yet.
both have hymns.
Yeah. But in general, rule of thumb, I think regulative principle, you need to at least be able to say, this is where we got this from.
Yeah.
We need to be in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, why do you use instruments? Well, because we have a book of Psalms.
Yeah.
And they have 90 gajillion instruments in there.
And you're told to sing.
Yes. And
it
on
makes
the
singing
harp,
easier.
on the lyre, on the tambourine.
Yeah.
Tambourine is more biblical than the guitar.
Yeah.
That's what it says. They weren't invented yet.
Yeah, they
didn't have guitars.
If they had guitars, Jesus would have been saying, y'all play that guitar.
Play the guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they had...
The guitar's the most popular instrument in the entire world.
What?
Did you know that?
When did the lute come about?
It's later.
Yeah.
Now, they had something
Harps.
similar in the first century.
Yeah.
Did I ever show you that song that they have from the first century?
It's from a grave, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a haunting song, actually.
It's a great song.
I love that song.
It's like a pop song.
Yeah. It's like the
so
oldest
weird.
song we have that has music to it.
That's
and
right.
It's like My Friend Died.
Yeah, well, it's like, and like Live Your Life and
Yes,
Be Free.
it was.
Stuff like
It's
that.
good. It's
It
good.
sounds like it's a pop song.
Yeah, but it's mournful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It's really interesting.
We listen. We use that. If you guys, if you're a member of our church and you did our Sunday night series on when we were looking at our liturgy and stuff,
Yes,
we used it
we
to
did.
kind of talk about
That's right.
what music in the church might have sounded like in the first century.
Yeah, it's different, but not like super different.
Yeah.
Music is better now.
That's what everyone's like takeaway is like, I could fit in the first century church.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be shocking to me.
No, it might be a little take a little getting used to, because I mean we've developed music and harmonies, and I mean people get better at stuff over time.
Yeah.
It's just like you could drive a Model T if you had to and get around town, but man,
And almost all music development in the last 2,000 years happened through the church.
yeah,
Like
music used to be our thing, our stick. We talked about this the
Bach
other day.
and all them. Yeah, they're all,
I feel
church
like, and we
musicians.
talked about this, man. I hope it swings back. I feel like we really gave up something when we got rid of church choirs in the, I guess, white church. Can we say that? In most evangelical churches, when we swapped out choirs for total bands, and because a lot of kids, I can sing harmony now because I grew up in a choir.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the reasons I have when it comes to guitar lessons and stuff, music and stuff, the only people I charge for are children, like small children that, and the reason I charge them is I charge their parents.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, they won't make them practice.
Yeah.
And literally, that's it. Yeah. Like, you can't make a killing on this.
Yeah.
And so I charge strangers and I charge children. But like young adults, youth, I don't charge anything for guitar lessons. Like,
you never charge me either.
No, I don't.
Then I'm not even getting any better.
I would never charge an adult in the church, like church members and stuff, because like I want people to know music, man, and understand
it's
music.
important.
Yeah, it's really important.
So I don't know how we got from them.
Oh,
burning
Strange
to-
Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Strange
we were
Fire.
talking about Strange Fire
And regulative principle.
in the regulative principle. Yeah, that's right. And
You can pretty easily, justify, not just justify, but maybe make a very compelling argument that you need to have music in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to be careful about your worship, what you do in
Yes.
worship. And like,
For sure.
this isn't just like I don't know, here it's time to attack the charismatics or something, the Pentecostals. But this is an issue. This is a reason why we're not Pentecostal or something. And there's a reason why we don't speak in tongues in church.
Yeah.
It's literally because Paul tells you not to. like Paul literally says,
I know.
you ought not to be speaking in tongues in church.
We could really go off on the deep end on this. And one
1
day we
Corinthians
will.
14, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Never mind that he's talking about actual spoken languages and not stuff
And
that's made up from nothing.
and that's like its own conversation.
I
But
know.
minimally, you can say,
know.
he says, don't speak in tongues in church.
Because people can't understand you.
Yeah, that's
and the
literally what he
entire
says to
point
you.
is
Yeah.
for them to understand you.
Yeah, so it's kind of wild.
Don't offer strange fire to the Lord. Do what he says. It's not like he's super, restrictive or something. And, man, he's serious about it. This reminds me of when David is taking the ark into Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And instead of the Levitical priesthood carrying it, as instructed here later, they put it on an ox cart. And there's a priest next to it named Uzzah, which is a really great name, right? And they're dancing, they're partying. God has delivered them from the Philistines, and it's a big day. Like Israel's out there celebrating, and the ox cart bumps on the road, and the ark starts to tip over.
Yeah.
It's going to fall out. You imagine the horror?
Yeah.
And Uzzah reaches up there and grabs it to make sure it doesn't fall out, and God kills him on the spot.
I think this is a good time. It's a good opportunity to talk about like I think a lot of people that would hear about Nadab and Abihu, their first thought would be like, God killed them because they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Like what would you say about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did.
And why? Why would God kill someone?
So this
for
is
a mistake?
very important. They are the priests of God. To them, it has been delivered the word of God. At this point, they are the ones teaching all of Israel.
Yeah.
if they are going to walk over there and not pay attention to what he said in his offerings, how do you think what's going to get disseminated down to his people?
Yeah.
So God saw it, and he was like, we're not having this. And so I guarantee you, when Ithamar and Eleazar went in there to offer their incense, they checked it like 6 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, remember Big Brother, I saw his skin off because God smoked him.
Yeah.
We're not going to mess around. We're going to get this right.
What about the thing with Uzzah?
It's same thing. He was a priest.
Yeah.
He should have known. You do not carry the ark of God in an ox cart. The Levitical priesthood carries it.
Yeah.
And if you reach up and touch it, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And, at that point, everybody was afraid.
Yeah.
They were like, we can't move the ark. They left it at the house where it was for like 8 years.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And then they went and read the Bible, and they're like, okay, this time the priests are going to carry it.
Yeah.
And every 25 feet, we're going to offer a sacrifice to God.
Yeah.
And that's what they did pretty much. It was like they'd take about 25 steps, they'd set the ark down, they'd do a sacrifice. They'd pick it back up and walk. It was like, we're not taking any chances. And because God is holy, right? And he is, Jesus said, be ye, we'll go back to King James, therefore perfect.
Yeah.
Even as your Father in heaven is perfect.
Yeah.
And there's a standard here.
Yeah.
And he expects you to keep it. He doesn't let it slide. God wasn't going to let that slide.
Yeah.
And he couldn't, because what was at stake was his entire nation.
I think like what is an important, like, it's like the question important to answer is like, why does he kill the guy who messes up worship and doesn't kill the guy who like murders his family?
Oh,
well, like this is one of the rare God direct strike down moments in the Bible. They don't happen often.
Well,
why is it happening in these situations?
Because this job was more important.
Yeah. So this is worse.
This is worse than murder.
Killing.
I mean, maybe. Well, he did authorize the community to kill a murderer.
Yeah.
Right. And
so, what about like you go to like what our worst stuff is like rape or something?
Yeah.
You know, like child rape.
Yeah.
Or something.
That they were authorized by the community to kill them. But like, here's the thing. Okay, this is very sensitive, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's copying that guy. You're not going to watch somebody go out and murder, kill his family, and think, I guess I'm supposed to go home and kill my family.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But if Nadab and Abihu are like, it don't matter. You can just sacrifice however you want to.
Yep.
They'll be like, okay, yeah, I guess so. Or they're misteaching the word of God because they're not paying attention. Then the ramifications that are tremendous.
There's a similar thing that happens in the New Testament.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the same reason.
Yes.
Same exact reason with Ananias and Sapphira, right?
Yeah.
Right at the start of the new church.
All they did was lie.
Yeah, that's right. They lied about giving.
They even gave a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, tons of people have lied about what they give over the centuries.
To the IRS.
And and also to the church.
Yeah, and to the church.
And like there's plenty of people have done what Ananias and Sapphira did.
Yeah.
Why were those two the only ones who were killed?
Yeah. That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of.
Well, it's early.
Yeah. It's
like
like
early adopter.
That's right.
Straighten them up quick.
Yep. And so I think it's a demonstration. It's like, this is serious. This is serious. They are the New Testament version of Nadab and Abihu.
Yeah.
And we're doing something very serious with worship of God. And it doesn't mean that there's not room for like musician. You miss a note or something when you're leading. You're not talking about that. We're talking about
false teaching eventually.
Irreverence.
Yeah, irreverence.
Irreverent, like not taking the Lord seriously.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that is. There's no room.
It's sort of like, it reminds me of like the one everybody hates at the construction site, the OSHA guy.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, put your hard hat on.
Yeah.
Hey, you cannot be down in that pit. The sides of these walls are not secured. If you lock out the power, because we're working on it, you have to tag it.
Yeah.
If you don't tag it, and people are like, that's so stupid. I'm not tagging out. And so they don't tag out. They don't put on their helmet. And most of the time, nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
But then one day, they assume something's locked out, and it's not. And a dude reaches up and grabs 220 or 440 at one of these big plants, and it blows a chunk of skin off the top of his forehead because of the live wire he just grabbed.
Yeah.
And or it's not locked out and somebody just walks over and flips the breaker back on while they're working on it. I know I know an electrician that happened to.
Yeah.
And that's why you lock it out.
Yeah.
And but you know, it doesn't get you every time.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does.
Especially if it's early.
Yeah, early on.
I think it's also important to at least note that you probably shouldn't take their death too far.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say anything about their eternal.
No, they might
death.
have went right to heaven.
They might have.
They've been like, Lord, is that you? It's like, son, I told you.
Yep.
I told you not to do this. Yep. And now here you are, and your mother and your kids are over there crying. Now come on home. It's okay.
Yeah. We don't have. There's nothing said about them.
I don't think they went to hell. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
There's a lot of those kind of.
God's going to take me out one day.
That's right. That's what I was about to say. Every single one of you are going to die,
That's
and you will die because God said so.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. Like, I don't know why it happens when it happens. Mm-hmm. No one does.
It could be cancer or something.
Yeah.
And it's that's how he can do it. He'd be like, oh, yeah, Brad, you got the brain tumor, bud. That's how you're coming home.
Time to come home.
The old church, the Reformers used to think that if you died slow, that was a blessing.
Died slow?
Died slow.
Really?
Yeah, you had time to make amends. You had time to think about life and repent and get square with all the people you need to get square with.
Yeah.
But if you fell off your roof and died instantly, you didn't get that chance. Not that it would be bad or you were like God would killed you, but it was like, man, it's good to have a week or two to be able to be like, oh, I need to talk to my Uncle Joe about that stupid thing that we got in a fight over, whether or not we had whose rake it was or something, you know.
So don't take the death too far.
No,
we don't know.
We don't know.
It doesn't say, and they burned in hell forever.
I don't know about anybody. I'm hoping Pharaoh made it.
That's
right before he drowned. I hope he was like, "Oh man, Yahweh's God screwed up."
Yeah, we don't know. And so I think those are important things to think about with it.
Yeah.
And then you get some regulations, about the priesthood. They're not to drink wine or beer when you enter the tent or meeting.
Yeah, and that's one interpretation I've heard is that, and it's possible. Mm-hmm. I think it's 50-50 that they had been drinking when they went in there.
Yeah,
and
it is suspicious that that's the first thing that's said right after this.
So implication is maybe they had a little bit too much wine. They went in and got a little careless, and they died. Yep. And then so they made a rule. Hey, guys, no drinking.
Yeah,
it's like when they first started driving cars, Model T, they was running off in ditches because they were drinking alcohol, At some point, it's like, hey, man, we can't drink and drive.
Yeah, it turns out that's a bad idea.
Another thing that maybe they should think about is stop texting on your phone when you're driving.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, so, but at first we don't know that.
Evie is like the texting and driving police.
Oh, she'll Nazi on you, honey. Oh, she'll be like, hey.
We don't. So she doesn't but she sees other people.
Oh, in their cars?
In their cars. And she's like, Daddy, they're texting while they drive. I'm like, yeah, they are. I'm getting away from them. And you can tell, man, they're swerving around everywhere, drifting.
Me and shout out to Austin again.
Yeah.
We were driving back. We dropped off his car at a mechanic shop, and we're coming back down this country road, and dude, there's a guy in our lane coming head on. Not for like a nanosecond, long enough for us to say things we shouldn't. Yep. And he Austin trying to grab my steering wheel while I'm driving. I'm like, I see it. He's like, whoa.
He's got to take control.
He freaked out a little bit. He was like, he didn't know if I could handle it for sure.
Yeah. You also get in here how the priests are going to eat. That it tells them kind of more explicitly, you get what's left over from food offerings and things like that. And so it tells them about how they're going to feed their kids off this and everything.
Yeah. And don't eat the fat.
Yeah. Don't eat the fat. You're right. That's part of it.
God killed some boys for doing that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much, we could get into the clean and unclean animals, but I think we should give its own podcast to clean and unclean.
Yeah. Pure, we need to do that. Just a spoiler, pretty much, I'm just going to say it has nothing to do with the morality of the animal.
No.
It's just rules.
Yeah. There is no morality to animals.
No.
Yeah.
You mean as far as eating them?
Even they're
one animal's not evil and one not good.
That's right. They're amoral. Yeah.
I think they're actually good.
Yeah.
I think animals are good. God says they're good.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're safe.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. But it's not like you can't eat camel because they're like some kind of evil creature or something.
Yeah,
you get all sinful if you eat that one. That one over there's got sin in its bones or whatever. It's so stupid. No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
See y'all next week.
See ya.